We got some questions recently about our purchase of our new Class C motorhome. And so I thought I would take some time to do a video about why it was that we moved to a Class C from a travel trailer and what influenced our decision to buy a Jayco product. When we first started looking at motorhomes, it was a couple years ago, we couldn't afford, back when we bought our Flagstaff, we really couldn't afford a Class C at that point, because we wanted something that was a little nicer and a little bigger than your standard motorhome. We've rented a lot of Class C motorhomes over the years, and we really like the convenience that you have with a motorhome. And then we saw an opportunity just recently with some extra cash to be able to purchase one. And even though we were happy with our Flagstaff Classic 832 BWS, there were some downsides to it, and most of that influenced our decision. Also, we started attending some RV shows. We've always gone to RV shows over the years, and we started gathering information, and then we would also scour the YouTube videos and the internet for all the information we could get, and we talked to some other people who owned similar products. We first started looking at some of the Thor products, Four Winds. There's a 31-foot Four Winds that has a lot of closet and drawer space in it. We looked at Quantum, we looked at the other Thor Chateau, and we just weren't really happy with the quality of the of those units, and also some of the experiences that other people have had with the Thor Class Cs and also the Super Cs. And we did look at some Super Cs. We looked at the Thor Magnum and the Omni, and we would have had to buy used with that, and if we had bought, we would have bought a pre-COVID unit so that we might have had a better shot at getting one with not so many problems. But we'd owned a Jayco. It had Jayco products before, and we were always impressed by the quality, and we probably would have gotten a Jayco the last time if they would have had the kind of bunkhouse model that we were looking for that we found in the Flagstaff. And so the last RV show that we went to was at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. And we even looked at some smaller units there, but for the next year, actually till June, we have to live in it full time. And so we decided that we needed to have something a little bit larger, but we didn't want to go with a Super C because we didn't want to get into more high dollar or a bigger unit. And so that's when we started focusing our sights on just the regular Class Cs. One of the reasons that we went to a Class C was because we want to change the style of travel. One of the disadvantages of our previous trailer was that we had to always, when we wanted to use the bathroom on the road, we had to pull out a slide in order to do it because you couldn't get into the bathroom. If you wanted to fix your lunch, you couldn't do that without opening two slides. The setup time and the takedown time was a big thing. I mean, we didn't have auto leveling, and the longer your unit is, the harder it is to level. And so we tried to see if we could find something that would be more simpler than what we had, putting out 4 slides, and you have to level it before you put the slides out, and then when you get them out, then you realize, nope, you're not level, and then you have to pull the slides back up, and if you have to raise or lower the hitch, you may have to put it back on your vehicle. And so we just wanted to have a different style of travel because we plan on going back to Alaska probably not next summer, but the summer after. And that to us was very important about having not such a big unit that we couldn't get into some of the state parks and national forest campgrounds and some of the other boondocking areas where it'd be a little tight. And so that was primarily why we decided to switch to the motorhome. And so I wanted to then talk about when we decided for sure that we wanted a Jayco and we wanted a Greyhawk. They're a little bit more upscale than the Red Hawk. We would have loved to have had one with full body paint, but not going to pay an extra $25,000 for that, and we didn't have any in our area anyway, and we needed to be able to trade here in Southern California. And we had originally planned on going to Arizona to do it, but when we couldn't, when our transmission in our Ram 2500 needed to be replaced, we couldn't get our trailer back over to the Phoenix area to do that, so we decided to stay locally here. And so we looked at two different Jayco models, and I'm going to show you on my iPad here the two different ones that we went back and forth, and then I'll explain to you why we chose the one we did. I'm on the Jayco website now. The two units that we looked at were the 29MV. It's a 32-foot 6-inch RV, and so is the 30Z, which was the other one. And we liked the 30Z, but the issue here was in the bedroom. You can see that there's not a lot of space around the bed, and it was on my side of the bed where it was the most cramped, and so I didn't really want to have to worry about if I had to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom that I would have a problem in crashing into something. We did like the fact that the sofa was across from a fireplace and a TV set, and so if it hadn't been for the space, because you can see the slide out comes out the back, and that's why you don't have a lot of space back there, and so that was the disadvantage of that. And then the 29MV, and I'm going to click on that so that we can, well, at least I think I am. There we go. The reason that we went with the 29MV is that, as I said, we have to live in this for a year almost before we won't be living in it full time. And so we wanted as much, as you can see, we wanted as much closet space as we could get. There's two closets here, pretty good sized, and a lot of drawers in the bedroom. And so that was something we really liked. It didn't bother us that the shower was outside because of the bathroom, because the door of the bathroom will open and has a magnetic catch on it so that it will enlarge the size of the bathroom. And there's also a pleated door there you can see that allow you to have privacy, and it's most of the time just the two of us. I don't know how often our granddaughters will go with us between now and June, but probably not. Now that they're spending a lot more time with their mother, we probably won't get them out in the RV much, but it has a lot of room in the kitchen area too. There are, I'm going to show you over here, there are 6 drawers in here, and there are a lot of overhead cabinets and a lot of counter space, and then this humongous 15 cubic foot refrigerator. And so that was another reason. One of the reasons that we liked the Greyhawk as opposed to some of the other ones, like the Coachman has some Class C's, and Forest River, the Forester, and then there's East to West has some, and Winnebago, some of those we looked at. But my husband really likes the idea of the thicker baggage doors and the slam latch, because he's had his fill of the twisty locks that you get because they break off real easy, and they don't always work right. And so that was the reason that we decided to go with the Greyhawk. And they also don't have as many options for the Red Hawk. So this is why we went with this unit. I can tell you right now that we've been very happy with it. We've replaced our Thedford plastic toilet today with a Dometic 310. And so that's probably the only upgrade we'll do. We're going to get some solar upgrade right now. There's only one panel up there. We've got a 1,000-watt inverter, a 30-amp charge controller, but we have two 12-volt batteries, and we want to go with lithium. And so we're working with solar bills in Quartzsite, and probably in November we'll go and do that. And other than that, I don't imagine there will be too many upgrades. But there are some things that we really like about this unit that I will touch on here in a minute. You can see we are now using the 750-pound weight capacity of the bunk, although there's not a lot of heavy stuff in here. But that's one of the advantages, because we're used to having all the bunk beds to put all this stuff on. But that's what we've been using that for storage, and the cab is even getting used for storage. We won't be moving this. We'll be stationary through the month of September. We do have to go next week to Camping World is going to install our flat tow package for us to flat tow our Ford Ranger, and so we'll be doing that next week. So that'll be the first time we move this. Some of the features that as I showed you over here, this is something we really liked, was the kitchen. And these cabinets go back pretty deep. We've got a tour video out of this so you can see more in depth. But we really like that. We like the blackout blinds. The sink is okay. I'm really surprised my husband hasn't wanted to replace that faucet. It's usually the first thing he does. He's from a family that owned a water conditioning company, and he's done a lot of plumbing work over the years. The layout of with the booth dinette and the trifold sofa sleeper are nice, but the only disadvantage right now is that TV set is so tiny, and we would probably be sitting over here to watch it. And so that's one of the disadvantages. Some of the units we looked at in the MV have the 12 cubic foot 12 volt refrigerator. This is a Furrion 15 cubic foot, and it's fairly nice. And I've talked in another video or another short about the size of the convection microwave compared to the oven. And that we don't use our oven very much anyway, so we mostly use the barbecue grill. It doesn't bother us that the shower is out here. This is a bigger shower than we had in our Flagstaff Classic, and I love the shower head and the fact that you can raise and lower that. Yeah, my husband is taller than I am, so he raises it, and then I end up lowering it. And in here, this is what I said, we replaced the cheapy Thedford plastic toilet with this one, and I love the fact that there's a window in here. And we decided not to replace the fan. We bought a cover for it, but we were going to put a new fan in there, Max Aero or Dometic, but it's wired into the BM Pro system, and so we didn't want to mess with the wiring on that. I also like the fact that you can turn the fan on real easily. You know, I'm not tall enough to reach the button up there. We got a lot of storage space in here. We had to go with a queen short, but not a big deal. And then this is all the storage space in here that we've got. And these closets are huge. And we've got storage here. We will probably never watch the TV in here, so my husband is probably going to replace this with a cabinet door. And I'll show you how big my closet is, because if I open my husband, something's likely to pop out on me because he stuffs his full. And probably another disadvantage is this little step that's, I'm not sure what's underneath that, but some maybe a water tank or some other kind of tank, one of the holding tanks, I don't know. And another thing that I like is that we have a back window. We had a back window on our Flagstaff, but we didn't have the ability to see out all directions that we have now. And so that's really nice because we've got windows here, got a window up there, and a window here. And so if something's going on outside, we can see out all sides. But I just wanted to kind of give some information about why we chose this model. If we had our way, we probably would have gone with a Super C, maybe the Jayco Seneca, but then we get back into another long RV and we didn't want to do that. I also like that this is lots of plugins everywhere. There's plugins here, there's some plugins down there, USB plugins, and then we've got plug here. So that's one of the another nice thing about this. And so the only thing that we have to have repaired, and when they do our tow hitch, these lights here for some reason are always in the dim mode, and they're not supposed to be. And they're going to take a look at that when we bring it in to have the work done on the tow. And they have to have the Ranger for 2 days, and then we bring the motor home, and the technician is going to spend an hour showing my husband how to hook up everything. We flat towed our Jeep years ago. We had a 1983 Jeep CJ7, and so we have flat towed before, but doing the Ranger is a little bit different. And so that's about really all there is to say about why we chose this model. We've been very happy with it. We've been in it a month. Aside from the lights in the back, we haven't had any mechanical issues or water leaks either. So keep following along. We will be doing some travel this winter, and we'll have a lot of videos out. We had to cancel because of my mother-in-law's death and the closing of her house. We couldn't go to Rome, America in Page, or the Grand Canyon Skywalk in Meadview, and so we moved those reservations over Veterans Day weekend, and so we'll have some video there, and we'll be going to Quartzsite probably the week before Thanksgiving, and then we'll be back and forth between there and Phoenix through January. This year we're going to stay for the RV show. We didn't do that last year. We had other plans going on in the Palm Springs area, and that's why we left the day before. So follow along. We'll also have a lot of videos out about our tiny house in Flagstaff, and we're hoping they'll get our walk-in shower finished when we come back in October.